I'm very grateful that grass-fed colostrum from bovine source is something that we have available to us, because it was really one of the big things that helped me turn the corner in my recovery from candida and gut health damage after I had been in my teen years taking antibiotics daily for 5 years as prescribed by doctors who were not really interested in getting down to the source and the cause of what was going wrong with my health. I certainly did lots of other things in terms of cutting out sugar and having antifungal herbs and immune enhancing herbs, but really, as I said, I wasn't able to turn the corner until around the time I started using colostrum regularly. It's not something I use all the time, but as a part of a serious gut healing protocol, I think it definitely has its place. Now, colostrum is known by a number of other kind of nicknames. It's known as immune milk sometimes, or some people call it nature's first food. And it's the initial hind milk, or the milk-like substance that is produced after a human or a cow, for example, gives birth. And it's not, the bovine colostrum is not quite as dense nutritionally as human colostrum, but it's still pretty amazing. It contains immunoglobulin antibodies, immune transfer factors, lactoferrin, and we're going to talk a lot more about that, and also growth factors. And it's not just something that people have started using recently. It has thousands of years of history of use, especially well documented in the Ayurvedic system. Now, we're going to focus here primarily on colostrum as it relates to leaky gut. And so this requires a little bit of understanding of what's happening in leaky gut. Now, so when you have leaky gut, you have these tight junctions that should only be what's called selectively permeable. They're kind of busted open and anything can get through. So one of the main things that gets through is undigested food particles, and that's problematic because it can lead to autoimmune reactions, it can lead to inflammation, it can lead to food sensitivities. But the other thing that comes through is bacterial endotoxins called lipopolysaccharides. There's various forms, but lipopolysaccharides or LSPs, LPSs, are one of the most pernicious. Now, this substance that we mentioned a moment ago, lactoferrin, is one of the real superhero compounds that you're going to find in colostrum. So it is able to act as an inflammation modulator because it's able to bind to these endotoxins and reduce inflammation throughout the body, because these endotoxins are no longer causing the inflammation. This is very helpful in a variety of inflammatory situations, but especially people usually see results with things like eczema and psoriasis that are real chronic inflammatory symptoms. So then you also have to look at it from the side that lactoferrin is going to be acting as a prebiotic and helping to support the growth of good bacteria in the gut. And it's also supporting cell regeneration in the intestines, because we talked about the growth factors that you find in colostrum as well. So this is helping to soothe the inflammation and heal the damaged gut, strengthening that gut wall and preventing this excessive permeability of the gut lining. And now it's also boosting your T cell levels, boosting your levels of white blood cells, and it's going to be antifungal, antibacterial, antimicrobial, antiviral. And the reason it's able to do all those things is because this lactoferrin is able to bind to the viral and the bacterial cells and prevent these pathogens from growing and prevent them from entering into your cells. So immunologically, this is a superfood of the highest order. And it has other benefits in other areas as well. One that's interesting is that it can reduce oxidative stress and damage to the muscles after exercise. They had a study where they took two groups of athletes. One just did their normal thing for 8 weeks. The other would exercise and have colostrum afterwards, and they did that for 8 weeks. And the group with the colostrum showed a greater increase in lean muscle mass and more overall athletic performance gains. So that's another interesting side of colostrum that we can explore more in depth another time.